All right, now let's talk about your plans going forward. Obviously, you're still a United States Senator. You're fighting very aggressively, especially in these times for the working class. But do you have plans to do more with the progressive movement, and what would that be?
Well, for a start, Cenk, let us understand, and it's just easy to forget about it. This is the most painful moment in the modern history of this country. It's just easy to forget about that reality. But not only have we lost 93,000 people to the pandemic, we have now seen in the last 9 weeks, 38 million people apply for unemployment benefits. Insane numbers, totally insane, unprecedented numbers. And right now, throughout this country, in my own state of Vermont, and throughout this country, there are millions and millions of people wondering how tomorrow they're going to feed their families. They're worried about getting evicted from their apartments or losing their homes or not being able to pay their credit card bills and see their credit card scores go way, way down. This is a terrible, terrible moment. And what Congress has got to do is to move aggressively once again on a new emergency package to deal with this crisis. It's an unprecedented crisis. We have to move forward in an unprecedented way. And what I would say is I think Nancy Pelosi and the House Democrats did something that was significant, but I think we have got to do better in the Senate. So I'm not sitting around here and saying, hey, let's just adopt what the House did. We have got to do better. And in my view, we have been focusing on 3 or 4 basic issues. Issue number 1, we need what we call a Paycheck Security Act, which is similar to what was done in many European countries and says that you will continue to receive the paycheck and benefits that you got when you were in the office or in the factory. You're going to continue to get that. Number 2, we have got to understand that especially in this crisis, that all of our people, regardless of income, regardless of what jobs they may or may not have had, are entitled to health care as a right. And that means we expand Medicare during the crisis. I'm going to continue the fight for Medicare for all in the future, as soon as this thing is over. But right now, at least, we got to make sure that all people have access to health care without out-of-pocket expenditures by expanding Medicare. Number 3, we have got to understand that a $1,200 check, which is what we did once and what Pelosi would propose we do again, is just not enough. That's 1 month's rent. And I believe that every American should get at least $2,000 a month throughout this crisis. So those are some of the areas that we are focusing on right now.
So the progressive camp says, hey, you're looking for free testing and free treatment of coronavirus because it could threaten your life. Well, there's a lot of things that could threaten your life. That's why we should have Medicare for all, and you should have free testing and treatment for all of that. Now, the Andrew Yang camp says you guys are saying let's do basically UBI for a couple of months here. Well, why don't we, because we have an emergency, but why don't we, if it's a good idea then, why don't we do UBA throughout?
Look, I respect Andrew, but once we're out of this crisis, I think the better approach, this is an emergency. And what we want to do is make sure that everybody in this country has the cash in their hand to pay their rent, to take care of, to buy the food they need, to take care of their basic needs. That's what we want to do. But I think what is a better approach long-term to the economic crisis that not only we face now, but where we go into the future, is to understand there is an enormous amount of work, absolutely vitally important work, that has to be done. We have a child care system which is totally dysfunctional. We need great, well-paid child care workers. We need great teachers. We need to transform our energy system, move aggressively to wind, solar, energy efficiency, transform our transportation system, millions of jobs under the rubric of a Green New Deal. We need a physical infrastructure program to rebuild our roads and our bridges and affordable housing, etc. So what I believe is not that we simply give a check to people over the long term, what I believe is we have federal guaranteed jobs at decent wages. If you are able to work, there will be a job for you, because God knows we have enough work to be done to create the kind of economy that we need and the kind of services that we need that will make us the kind of country we should be.